Hi guys, welcome to Full Time Devils. I am Adam McCullough. This is MUFC Transfer Daily live. Happy Friday wherever you guys are at. Hope you're all doing well. We're back to talk Manchester United transfers, all the rumours, all the news, what's going on with players coming in to Manchester United and of course leaving. As you can see by the title of this video, Lukaku Flies Out. And today, Manchester United squad returned from China. They returned to Manchester, flying in this morning and landing. But Romelu Lukaku is reported to have immediately left Manchester and headed out for Belgium, where he's going to meet up with his agents ahead of a potential move to Inter Milan and the Serie A side. Now, these rumours have lingered on for the whole of the pre-season. Romelu Lukaku was out with Manchester United in Australia, in China, in Singapore. He was part of the squad that was in training, but then he had an injury and he's not been involved in any of the matches. He's been part of the squad that's been at the stadium, but never, been part of the squad, been on the bench or even started a game for Manchester United, which has helped fuel the rumours linking him with a move away from the club and to Inter Milan. Inter Milan have often spoke about him. Antonio Conte, their new managers, spoken about Romelu Lukaku and bringing him to the team. Even Romelu Lukaku himself has discussed a potential move to Serie A and to Inter Milan and spoken about Conte as well. So there's been all the links there and all the talk from the player, from the club, from his agent over a potential move. Now this comes after obviously Romelu Lukaku is being deemed as a player that doesn't quite suit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of play. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's kind of high energy, high pressing, high intensity style football. It's more suited to the likes of Rashford, Martial, Mason Greenwood. Now Romelu Lukaku is a striker. I know he never got 20 goals last season, but that was an anomaly. He normally gets 20 goals a season for you. And he's a striker that's hitting his peak years. He'll want to be starting for a team week in, week out and be a team's main man, a figure for the team where they're going to focus on him getting the majority of their goals. He's not going to be that at Manchester United, so I'm not surprised that he does want to leave. But Inter Milan have to come up with the money, and that has been a sticking point for Manchester United and Inter Milan in doing a deal. Now, we've heard from reliable sources over the whole summer about the interest there between both Inter Milan and the player, but they haven't been able to get the figure up. They haven't been able to sell Icardi, Perisic, or include them in any of the deal for the player to Inter Milan. So as of yet, Manchester United haven't got the money they want, so Inter Milan aren't going to get the player. And that's where we're at the minute with Romelu Lukaku. Now, obviously, if he has left and he's headed out to Belgium or to Italy or wherever his agent's at, looking to speed the move up, looking to try and make it happen, then fair enough. But we need our money. Manchester United need to reinvest as well. What do you guys think about strikers, though? Do you think you have to keep Martial and Rashford as the main two, or do we bring in another striker from as a squad player maybe? We don't want to bring in a player that's going to be big money, who's going to be wanting to start every game, because of course we've got Mason Greenwood coming through. Martial and Rashford need to be starting a lot of games. So when you look at that, it kind of limits who we can sign as a striker. There's been a lot of talk about Ben Yedder, but obviously Manchester United, are we actually in for him? Because a lot of the people that are making up these rumours, they don't really have a clue what's going on. We hear about Maguire and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday saying to Ed Woodward, get me the player now. Do we really think that happened? Probably not. And it's just the newspapers squeezing out every little bit that they can out of a potential transfer and getting as many stories, as many clicks, as many hits as possible from a story. And obviously Manchester United are big news. Obviously we're kind of desperate for players as well, because we need to make massive improvements to our team. So it's a sticky one for the club, and this is where we find ourselves in a situation where we're haggling over players for a while. The two signings we have made, Daniel James, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, delighted with those. Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes straight into our first 11. Massive improvement on the options we had at right back, but we need at least 2 or 3 more of those kind of signings that are going to go straight into the first 11. Guys, how you doing? I'm going to dive into the comments now. Ad Smith says he flew back to Belgium, nothing big. Happy Friday, says Jim Moore. Happy Friday, mate. Black Angel and Andrew Wilkinson also in the comments. Question mark. There's a question from David Fort who says, who's the replacement? Guys, get your thoughts in on how we replace Lukaku, or do we just keep the options that we had? Steve, how you doing, mate? I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Andre, thank you for the comment. Richard, again, thank you for the comment, mate. Get him sold so we can get Maguire in, says Abdul. Considering we've only spent £65 million, and it wouldn't be surprising at all because of Glazonomics if this was the case and United had to sell Lukaku to get Maguire. But considering we've only spent £65 million, yeah, if we had to sell to buy at this point, it would be an absolute disgrace, wouldn't it? I'd take Dybala, can play 9 or 10, says Andre. Be a difficult transfer to make happen though. What has happened to the Ben Yedder link, says Alex? That's all gone quiet. Although any link with Ben Yedder was on the proviso that Romelu Lukaku left the club, and obviously he's still here at this moment in time. Honestly disappointed it didn't work out for Lukaku. Great player, just had a bad season, says Golf Bandicoot. And I agree with you as well. Romelu Lukaku was someone that I really wanted to sign for Manchester United. I really wanted to be at the club and you know, come in and score loads of goals. He did well in his first season. He had his best personal season. He never scored higher than 27 goals as he did in his first season for the club. But then in the season that followed, he wasn't great. And you've got to look at, not many players were under Mourinho at that point, but he wasn't helping himself as well. And when you look at the way Solskjaer's come in now, and it looks like he's preferencing Rashford, Martial, and if Romelu Lukaku feels he's not going to get enough game time or he's not first choice, you can't knock him actually wanting to leave, because at 26, he should be giving his best years ahead now. And Inter Milan isn't really a bad move at all. We only spent 65 mil last season. Where is the money, says Alexander. Great point as well. We desperately need a proper central midfielder. That's where we lack. Says Jamie. I agree with you as well. Obviously, a lot of talk about Harry Maguire coming in and being that central defensive figure that we need. And we do need a central defender, especially when you look at Bailly, Lindelof, Rojo, Jones, Smalling. We can't really rely on any of those centre-halves for whatever reason. Inconsistencies, injuries, form. They're all very inconsistent if they're available, that is. And then you look at Tuanzebe. For me, Lindelof and Tuanzebe are the best centre-halves that we have at the moment at the club. Bailly as well, if he's fit. I don't mind Smalling as a backup, or even Jones as a backup. But Rojo, what's going to go on with him? Surprise is still at the club. And then you're looking at centre-half. We need a centre-half that's going to come in like Wan-Bissaka, first choice. But also, that's exactly the same case in midfield. Central midfield, look at the options. Pogba, he's our best player in midfield. The only player that you can guarantee should be starting week in, week out. McTominay's proven me wrong a lot. And I'd say he's probably first choice alongside Pogba, which again shows the lack of quality we have in central midfield. As much as McTominay is a valuable member of the squad and he's proven to do well, it shows the lack of quality that we have at central midfield when he's your best option after Pogba. Matic is getting no younger and he doesn't seem to fit in with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system. Fred, still a lot of question marks over him. Pereira had another good pre-season, but is yet to have more than a good pre-season for Manchester United. There's so many question marks over central midfielders. We've lost Herrera when we already needed more quality in there. So you're looking at it and you're thinking United definitely need a central midfielder, maybe two. And if you're looking further back, we need a centre back. So if we only get a centre half, the summer's still not been good enough, and we've just 2 weeks left. It is a position where you kind of start to worry and you think, right, if we get a centre half in the next 2 days, we can focus on bringing in that extra player in the midfield area. But if it drags on with Maguire and it comes to we got 2-3 days left and we need another signing, because we only seem to be doing one at a time at the moment, and it shouldn't be the case. What's going to happen for the club going forward? Because we got Europa League Thursdays, Sundays. We're heaping too much pressure on the younger players. Maybe then we're starting to demand more from James Garner. And you're thinking, is that right to be? Yes, one of them might surprise you and rise to the top and be fantastic. But you've got to give Ollie a chance. And it looked like he's doing some good stuff on the training pitch. It looks like he's doing some good stuff on the pitch with the lads that he has. But you need to back him. We said this with Jose last summer. You need to back him. We never did that. He cracked up, lost his job. Rightly so in the end. But, the seed was planted when the club didn't back Jose. And we're not backing Ollie so far. Yes, the signings so far have been good enough, but with 2 weeks to remain, we need a lot more. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. The rumours, obviously Lukaku potentially leaving the club, but of course we're hearing rumours regarding Harry Maguire and a whole host of other players as well. Bulldog says get Lukaku out of here, he's not done too much. We badly need a centre half and a creative midfielder, says Big D. I think we need a more all-round midfielder, someone that can be, in between Paul Pogba and the defence, someone that's gonna move the ball quickly. If Lukaku goes, I feel we won't replace him, says Luke Powell. Memphis to buy back, says Louis. We got the right thinking of using the young lads, but we will get a signing in before the end of the window, says T Mac. What do you expect from Alexis, says Michael. I always forget that he's still a Manchester United player, to be honest, with Alexis Sanchez. Often forget he's still a Manchester United player. Man like Bruno says qualifies. Still a lot of talk around Bruno as well. Let's see what the current latest is with Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire. Let's just have a little search right now as well, and keep your thoughts coming in, guys, on all things Lukaku, on all things Manchester United. The scumbags were reporting earlier that Man United are in the fight for Bruno Fernandes. That was confirmed by the sporting boss. And hints the 67 million pound midfielder could be on his way. So there's still lots of talk surrounding him, and it seems like Sporting Lisbon are doing all the talking, to be honest. Really getting this one going, really like trying to egg it up that he's going to leave. Maybe they're looking to cash in on their man, and I have been saying this all along. The Bruno Fernandes one, I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. Is it more coming from Sporting Lisbon and trying to sell their player, and they're just bringing United into it, or is there some real interest there from Manchester United? There's not much else on Harry Maguire so far. Obviously, he's been playing for Leicester City in pre-season. I think he scored the other day as well. No more news on that since we heard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's demanding that move is confirmed. I'm going to come back into the comments as well. We've got a fair few you guys on the stream today, close to 1,000. Can we get 500 likes on this stream while we're live? Get hitting that like button right about now. We've got close to 100. Let's try and hit 300, 400, 500 at least. What's your thoughts? Think they're both coming, keeping everyone in the dark. Bruno Fernandes or Milinkovic Savic, says Josh. I think we need someone more like Milinkovic Savic, but if you could get both, it's not bad at all, is it? But we need to keep Paul Pogba. I don't want none of these to be a replacement for Paul Pogba. We need to be keeping Paul Pogba. That is for sure. Kevin says, my fear is the board will push Oli to lean too heavily upon youngsters who aren't ready to step up to the first team. Great point, mate. And that's a little bit of a fear as well. With us potentially not getting enough business done in this transfer window, we're going to have to rely on Mason Greenwood, Angel Gomez, Tahith Chong, James Garner even. And forcing too much pressure on them. It can make them, but it can also break them. Some players need to be developed slowly, blooded into the team a little bit slowly. Some of them will, rise to the occasion straight away and never look back. But you have to treat younger players in individual scenarios. They're all different, and if you're forcing too much pressure on them, you could break them. Trade Lukaku for Bruno. Can't imagine he'll want to go to Sporting Lisbon. Are we looking to sign Jadon Sancho next year, says Tajas? I reckon we would have got him this year if we had Champions League football, but obviously we haven't got that, which I hate to remind myself about. Troy says, just popped on, can we get a recap? There's not much new news regarding transfers. Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, there's not much news, new news regarding that. But in regards to Romelu Lukaku, Manchester United returned from China today from their pre-season tour of Asia and Australia, and upon returning, Romelu Lukaku is reported to have left Manchester immediately and headed to Belgium for meeting with his agent. Now, obviously that's a strange one because he's supposedly injured, and the club have gone with that line that he's injured, that's why he hasn't been involved. They haven't really mentioned anything of a transfer, but the player, the agent, Inter Milan's manager, and they've all spoken about a potential transfer to Inter Milan. So it does seem like maybe they're trying to make a deal happen at the last minute. Inter Milan haven't got the moolah if the reports are to be believed, and they need to get the money together. United have to be getting at least what we paid for him, because look, whether he had a great season or not for Manchester United, he's still guaranteed goals, and I think he goes to Italy, and if he does go, he'll get 25 plus goals a season. So with that being said, United still need to get a lot of money for him, because at 26 years old, his best years are probably still ahead of him. So I do like Romelu Lukaku as a player, and I think if he does leave, I'd give him my blessing. I think, you know, with the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is here now, we need to be stepping up in terms of the way we're playing, and maybe Lukaku don't fit in with that, but we have to focus on getting the best deal for the club, and Lukaku is still worth a lot of money on this transfer market. He's still guaranteed goals, and we need to make sure we're getting our money back for him so we can reinvest that in the team. Anyway, guys, that's the latest on Manchester United and all the transfer news. Make sure you're keeping it locked to Full Time Devils for much more coming your way. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that stuff. Thank you for joining us here as well on Full Time Devils. But for now, I've been Adam McCullough. I'm out of here.